Good morning. So excited. It is, we're reading Leviticus chapter 12, verses 1 through 17 today. And uh, I have so many testimonies, but I can't tell them right now. We'll jump right into it. I'm still reading the complete Jewish Bible. My Bible here. So that's why I'm looking down rather than looking at the computer. But the most important part is the words, because this is, as it starts in the beginning, Adonai saying to Moses. Adonai is a Hebrew word for Lord. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1. And Adonai said to Moses, tell the people of Israel, if a woman, sorry, that was just, today is 13. Oh, it's looking like 12. It's Friday, y'all. Thank you for your patience. 13. Adonai is still speaking, nonetheless. Adonai said to Moses and Aaron, if someone develops on his skin a swelling, scab, or bright spot which could develop into a disease, there's another word, tazrat, he is to be brought to Aaron, the Cohen, which is another name for priest, or to one of his sons who are Kohanim, which is the plural version. And the Cohen is to examine the sore on his skin. If the hair and the sore is turned white and the sore appears to go deep into the skin, it is a tazrat. We usually translated leprosy. And after examining him, the Cohen is to declare him unclean. If the bright spot on his skin is white, but it does not appear to go deep into the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the Cohen is to isolate him for 7 days. On the seventh day, the Cohen is to examine him again, and if the sore appears the same as before and has not spread on the skin, then the Cohen is to isolate him for 7 more days. On the seventh day, the Cohen is to examine him again, and if the sore has faded and hasn't spread on the skin, then the Cohen or priest is to declare him clean. It is only a scab, so he is to wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spreads further on the skin after he has been examined by the Cohen and declared clean, he is to let himself be examined yet again by the Cohen. And the Cohen will examine him, and if he sees that the scab has spread on the skin, then the Cohen will declare him unclean. It is leprosy. If a person has leprosy, he is to be brought to the Cohen. The Cohen is to examine him, and if he sees that there is a white swelling in the skin, which has turned the hair white, and inflamed flesh in the swelling, then it is a chronic leprosy on his skin, and the Cohen is to declare him unclean. He is not to isolate him because it is already clear that he is unclean. If the leprosy breaks out all over the skin so that as far as the Cohen can see, the person with leprosy has sores everywhere on his body, from his head to his feet, then the Cohen is to examine him. And if he sees that the leprosy has covered his entire body, he is to pronounce the person with the sores clean. It has all turned white, and he is clean. But if one day inflamed flesh appears on him, he will be unclean. The Cohen will examine the inflamed flesh and declare him unclean. The inflamed flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. However, if the inflamed flesh again turns white, he is to come to the Cohen. The Cohen will examine him, and if he sees the sores have turned white, then the Cohen is to declare clean the person with sores. He is clean. Now, I know that's a lot, but my job is to expose you to the fact that the Most High wants to make sure that diseases is not spreading through his nation. The elaboration here in this Bible, which is why I'm reading it lately, chapter 13, verse 2, develop the disease into tazrat. Tazrat, usually translated leprosy, refers to a variety of skin diseases. The diagnosis and certification of cure were the responsibility of the Kohen. According to biblical law, those inflicted with tezrat or leprosy were considered unclean and were isolated until the disease was healed as a precaution to prevent the spread of infectious disease. Historically, rabbis have seen tezrat as an outward sign of an inward problem. The disease is a result of lashon hara, or speaking evil of other people. Now that last part, I'm not sure about, but we do know diseases are dis-ease, something on the inside and the outside. Good morning, Steph. And what I do want to point out again, this is about relationship. And we see the heart of our Adonai, our Lord, making sure that we are not spreading diseases to people. The other nations, because at the time of this being happening, he's called out a people to himself. The other nations did not take care of themselves this way. And then when you read further, you'll see how people didn't even pay attention to this, or how they treated people. This is the foundation, people. It's a foundation to see how he loves us. It's a foundation to see how he wanted us to take care of ourselves and separate ourselves from the other nation. So please do your due diligence. Study it out further, because I love you and he loves you, and you will have a great day. Peace.